The New York Knicks are off to the second round after a thrilling win over the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 6 of their Eastern Conference quarterfinal. What an unbelievable game last night. The Knicks look unbeatable, then they look like they can't do anything, and then they look unbeatable again, and then they have to hold on for dear life to pick up a win against the 76ers. Just a wild game that no one really saw. No one could predict what was going to happen next. I couldn't. I watched this whole thing. I was watching it an hour after everyone else. I watched the whole Leaf game first. Kept this game on pause so I could just skip ahead on the DVR stuff on the TSN website. And just I wanted to be tweeting like, oh my god, this is insane. All of it, like that 22-point lead that the Knicks get in the first quarter, and then Philadelphia battles it back to the point where they're leading at halftime. Incredible. And then the Knicks still don't look great in the third quarter, but then somewhere late in the third, early in the fourth, the offense starts to get clicking again. But then it becomes a bit of a slog one more time late in this game, and the 76ers made a run. This was great. And this was where you need star players to step up, and Brunson didn't step up for the whole game. He was unstoppable to start, and he was unstoppable to close, and that is when the Knicks needed him the most. He was so good in this game. Overall, he was so good in this game. There were stretches where he was just taken out of it. But he was so good. And then in the back part of the game, as the 76ers are starting to double him, he is recognizing it and taking advantage of it. And I thought that the 76ers did a really good job of kind of countering that when they put Embiid on Hart, so that Embiid is now defending in that pick and roll and just sagging back. So Hart rolls off. He gets the ball and he's driving in, but now he's driving in on Embiid and it's like, oh my God, what do I do? And it caused, I think it led to a turnover. So it was really good defense there, but it was a good counter. But still, Brunson, as the double team's coming, he knows exactly what to do and he is getting his other teammates involved, and they were the ones who were stepping up with some big shots. But it was Brunson who was coming up with big shot after big shot when they needed it and hitting some big free throws left. This is not the Brunson game that happened earlier in the series, but this is what star players do. They step up in the big moments, but also they help elevate the players around them, and I think he did that in a big time way. The other players that stepped up, Josh Hart, I thought, was incredible for most of this game. As most Knicks last night, there was a dry spell in the middle part of this game where just nothing was falling. But Hart's defense, his energy on offense, really provided the Knicks with what they needed. And that is the type of role player that you win with. That is what I kept thinking. Even something as smart as they're passing the ball around with 24 seconds left, trying to avoid the foul. And I think it was DiVincenzo's pass gets a little too close to that end line, and Hart is able to save it and stay in bounds and keep play going so that they do eventually draw the foul. But just plays like that, he does so many little things so well, and defensively, I thought he was great in this game. And then OG Anunoby was so smart in his help defense. Like there were times they were doubling Embiid, but not until Embiid kind of committed to his shot. And there was a couple of times where OG ends up getting a block. Like he has it one-on-one, and he's very obviously about to spin around and shoot, and OG just kind of cheats that side enough that you can't really see him, and then he explodes over and gets the block. He comes up with the monster dunk of the series on Embiid that felt like it was like Vince Carter gif over. And then the Knicks go on an 8-0 run to tie it. But OG was special in this ball game, offensively and defensively. This is why the Knicks went out and traded for him, and this is why the Raptors were looking for 3 firsts from this cat a year ago, because he can be that good. And I thought, was a difference maker in this game with what he was able to do on both ends of the floor. But the real MVP, I thought, for the Knicks was actually Dante DiVincenzo. Because this Knicks team, with no Randall, they needed someone to step up offensively. They needed a Robin to the Batman of Brunson. And at times it's been OG, at times it's been Hart. And in Game 6, for the first part of the game anyway, it was Dante DiVincenzo, who was unconscious from outside and attacking the rim really well. And then defensively, he is a huge part of why Maxey didn't have a very good game either. His quick hands created a couple of steals, and then I thought he had the play of the game, because it is so obvious what the 76ers wanted to do late in that game as they're trying to get the buckets back. down by a couple with no timeouts left. They need Maxey to just build up that speed, sprint down the court, and either get to the rim really quick or set up a drive and kick situation. And DiVincenzo got in front of him and did not let him get that speed up. Twice he did that in the last 10 seconds, and that sealed the game. And that is so hard to do with someone who is explosive and talented as Maxey is, and DiVincenzo able to do that. It was an art form last night. So I thought he was the MVP for the Knicks. It isn't a whole lot actionable now with the bigs because the Indiana Pacers are a bit of a different animal when it comes to the bigs. They don't have a big like Joel Embiid, and I think Turner and Siakam create some interesting matchup mismatches for people. But they did what they could against Embiid. I actually thought Robinson did a better job on Joel Embiid, but I also feel like, and it's weird to say, Hartenstein was really important to the offense. When this team had some struggles getting things going on offense, it was that little bunny hook in the lane that Hartenstein was hitting. That was the only easy shots they were getting for about a 45-minute stretch in this game. 45 games are only 48. For about like a 25-minute stretch of basketball in this game, the only easy shots they were getting was Hartenstein's little hook in the lane. And so both guys really played their role. They hacked the shit out of Embiid, but both guys played their role in this game. And it'll be interesting to see how they factor in next series against the Indiana Pacers. But the thing that is really going to need to step up as they get ready for the Pacers now is offensively, because this Pacers team can score, man. Like you saw it last night with McConnell outdueling Damian Lillard, and Siakam has kind of not 2019 NBA Finals Siakam, but Siakam has found a real interesting life to his game now. And so I think there's a challenge here for the Knicks. Defensively, they could absolutely just shut the Pacers down and bully ball their way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but there are going to be nights where that's not going to happen, and you're going to have to score with this Pacers team. Now, the Pacers don't provide a whole lot of resistance on that, but there are going to be nights where you're going to have to do that, and we saw in this series, if this gets into a shootout, the Knicks are a little unarmed with no Julius Randle. Hart can step up. OG can step up. DiVincenzo can step up. We've seen that at times throughout this series. The bench needs to get more than like 6, and some of these guys need to be able to do it consistently, and they're going to need to find ways to get easy buckets at times, because when it bogged down, they just did such a bad job of creating easy looks, and part of that is a credit to the Philadelphia 76ers. On the Philly side, this is obviously a very disappointing loss for them. It's funny, Nick Nurse, no longer the coach of my favorite team, and all of a sudden, all his whining to the referees kind of seems insufferable. But it is what it is, right? But Joel Embiid did everything he could here. Like, he is obviously limited. He obviously didn't have a ton left in the gas tank. Like, he wasn't going out and doing sprints up the rocky stairs after this one. My guy gave everything he had out on that floor, and he was, I thought, quite good. Offensively, it was just he would hit shot after shot, and it's like, how is he still doing this? And the double would come, and he would pass out of it, and they would just go with one-on-one with Hartenstein, and he'd back him down and lay it in. He was hitting jump shots. He was hitting from 3. There were a couple of times where his shots got blocked, and it was just obvious that he didn't really have that lift that he needed. But now, hopefully, a full healthy offseason for him will be like, there was talk that he would join the Olympic team. I don't think he should do that even a little bit. Like that, Paris seems sweet, but if I'm him and I'm the 76ers, I'm like, hey, no, absolutely not. You stay in a bubble until October now, sir, and we'll do that. Like, cardio-wise, just ride the bike, man. We don't even want you sprinting. They need this guy healthy, because this is obviously an entirely different series if he is healthy. And this is still a championship contender if he is healthy. They have a lot of questions this offseason, but they also have a max spot. And, I mean, is it likely that either Paul George or LeBron James leaves either LA team? I still think no. But if they do, Philadelphia is quite the interesting landing spot. So they feel so close to being a championship contender, especially in the East this year. But they need that guy to be that guy one more time. And the other part of it, his presence defensively is a game changer. I said that before when they put Embiid on Hart, so that Hart was involved in the so that Embiid was involved in the pick and roll, and he just dropped back, and Hart's like, well, I don't know what to do. There were so many times the Knicks would drive, and all right, we're getting to the rim, and fuck, that guy's there. And he would alter a shot. He would block it. There were so many times his presence in the lane altered a shot or altered the offense in general. And that was when Philly really started to get things rolling, was when in the half court, their defense just shut down the Knicks. And then offensively, they were getting some efficient looks, they were getting some shots, and that was allowing them to set up their half court defense and not letting the Knicks run out on them and get these big looks. So Joel Embiid was an absolute 100% factor defensively in this series. And when this team needed players to step up, it was some of the role players for the 76ers. Cam Payne gave this team the energy that they desperately needed when they were getting run out of the building to start the game, down 33-11. Payne comes up with a bucket, a steal, and a three, and all of a sudden there's some life in this 76ers team. And then Buddy Hield, I am not overstating this, might have saved his NBA career with that run he went on in Game 6, where he started 4 for 6 from 3. I think he got to 20 points with like 18 of them coming from 3. He was remarkable in this game. And like they lose by 2. They needed every inch of what he was able to provide. And that was exactly what they thought they were going to get from him as the season went on. And they just didn't get it until this very game. And just quick aside, watching it from a Raptors standpoint, that I think is the type of player that the Raptors now need to target in free agency, where like he has some rehab to do to the image. And so if I'm Toronto, I'm like, hey, do you want to come just put up a shit ton of points for like 4 months and then we'll flip you for something at the deadline? Like, do you want to just come in here on a 1 or 2 year deal and we'll flip you for something? I think that would be an interesting fit, but that we can discuss that another time. This was the unfortunate side of a breakout for Tyrese Maxey, because the Knicks clearly decided they weren't going to let that cat do that again. And as soon as he would get even half a step on his guy, the entire team, it was just like a magnet, just vroom, right down into the paint. And Maxey just had nowhere where he could go. And so much of their offense was predicated off of what he was able to do by getting into the paint. And they shut that down. And so now this is where he needs to have that adjustment, and he needs to have that understanding. I also thought Nurse could have done a better job, Embiid as well, of getting Maxey really involved in this game. And I thought they needed that a little bit more. Like I thought back to Denver's win against the Lakers, where early on, Jokic is getting MPJ involved. Jokic is getting Jamal Murray involved. I thought the 76ers kind of needed to do that with Maxey. We're just like, okay, it's struggling a little bit. Let's just run a couple screen. Maxey hit like a 10-footer, and let's get that ball rolling for him, because it never did. And that, I think, really cost this team. And then another one that I think really cost them, Tobias Harris, in what is likely his final game as a Philadelphia 76er, was a no-show and was absolutely dreadful in this game. Unnoticeable at best. And at worst, a real liability to a team that needed him to come up with a strong performance at the biggest time of their season. Like, they needed anything. They lost by 2. If he scores 4 points, they win. Obviously, that's a little reductive, but you know what I mean. They needed anything from this guy, and I think he cost himself tens of millions of dollars in free agency, not just this season, but just in the last 6 games. He was dreadful when the 76ers needed him the most.